guys, it's Lisa here with a brand new, all new training for you. Module 5, Mindset Matters, Mastering Your Mind. I'm really excited about this module. I feel like this is like where it becomes quite a key time. We've gone through the first 4 weeks, as I like to say, the foundation period. We're coming into the mid-4, which is the base period, before we go on to the peak 4 at the back end. That sounds really rude. The last 4 weeks. So this Mindset Matters is really, really interesting. And this module is going to cover kind of weeks 4 to 8. And what we're going to look at is the circle of success. So the action, the motivation, the confidence and the success, the mindset and the habits. If I had £1 for every person that said to me, oh, I just need my mojo back. Oh, I just need to be in the right mindset. Oh, I just need to kick up the bum. Oh, you know, I would be a very, very, very rich woman and you wouldn't be listening to me on this training now. Actually, it's just not the way that it happens. It's the taking action that creates motivation. And, you know, when people say, well, like, you know, if I just got back to the gym 5 times a week, it would be fine. It's kind of an unrealistic expectation. Of course, you're not going to do that if you haven't been going to the gym at all. But if you could get to the gym once, you can build it up to twice. And I had a client who recently said to me, I've got a home gym next door to my bedroom. I was like, why am I not going in there? I just went and did it. I just went and did 10 minutes on my cross trainer. And I loved it. Went back the next day and did 20. Went back, you know. And it's that thing of when you just take that action, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be that 5 days a week in the gym. You can really start to feel the motivation. And with that motivation, it's almost self-fulfilling. Your confidence builds, your success grows. You see the weight dropping on the scales, the inches coming in. You can get into a pair of trousers that you haven't been able to. And that confidence and success helps create the mindset. That leads into the mindset where you start thinking, I can do this. You know, hey, it's actually not being that complicated. Hey, I'm actually losing weight. Hey, I think I quite enjoy this. Hey, it's going fine. And with that mindset, you start to create those habits. You start to get to a point where you say, actually, you know, I feel like I want to go to the gym a little bit more because I'm enjoying it so much. Or actually, I'm going to add in another exercise session. Or actually, you know, I'm loving my food. I just want to do this a little bit more different. And it's a continuous circle. So it's kind of self-motivating, self-fulfilling, just as you take the action. And another of my clients recently was talking to me about his 5 pillars of success, and very strongly it came across, if I just do it and don't think about it, it happens. And it was just so true, so very, very true. So let's look at this in a bit more detail. Action. I want to talk about the hierarchy of fat loss. I want to talk about how we're going to keep the motivation going. I want to talk a bit about stress management. I know you're all in very, very stressful jobs. I know what it's like to be an interim. That it's never an easy day, or it's very, very rarely an easy day. So how we manage our stress and how that can impact on our weight as well. So the hierarchy of fat loss, and this is probably just a reminder, but I want to go back to it. The number one thing about the hierarchy of fat loss is you have to be in a calorie deficit. That's the first thing. The second thing is the quality of the food that you're eating. So you could be in a calorie deficit eating donuts all day, and that's really not going to help you with your overall health, wealth, weight loss goals. You know, it's going to spike your blood sugars and then you're going to come crashing down. You're not going to eat more, sugar addiction. Yeah, not good. So it's the quality of the food you eat as well, which is really important after being in the calorie deficit. The third thing that's important in the hierarchy of fat loss is getting your protein content right. Now, we would have set your calorie deficit number and your protein number when we looked at your MyFitnessPal. And really, when you hit that protein number, you don't have to worry about the carbs and the fat because they even themselves out. You know, one day you're going to be higher on carbs, one day you're going to be higher on fat, but you'll be lower on the other. So they really even themselves out. But when you start hitting that protein goal consistently, you will see how easy the other two become. And it does take a little bit of practice to hit that protein goal. I know it did with me. So the fourth thing in the hierarchy of fat loss is doing some HIIT training. Now, you might be in the gym and you might be doing some HIIT afterwards, or you might be, actually, that's your main focus. For a lot of my people that I work with, it is the main focus of their training, doing bodyweight HIIT. It's really important because you raise your metabolism, you fire it up, and it burns calories for longer. Following on from your HIIT exercise is what I call your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, this is a really overlooked and underestimated way in which you can burn calories and why it's important to your overall well-being and health. So, when we were younger, we didn't have a car until I was about 13. We walked everywhere. We didn't have a remote control for the television. We used to stand up and go and change the remote control. We didn't have gizmos and gadgets and phones and laptops. We used to go and run around outside. We just didn't have those things. And we are in a society nowadays where both food and activity has become a less and less prominent and predominant in our society. You know, the packaged food that you can get, the processed foods that you can get, the ability, everyone's got cars, we don't walk as we used to. So that NEAT, where you just get up, the fidget movement, and you just walk a little bit more, is so, so important. You know, take the stairs, not the lift. Go outside and like run around for a while, do a bit of gardening. You know, if that's something, and particularly that helps with your stress management if you love your gardening. Go to the water cooler further away in the office, walk down the corridor instead of the one that's right by your desk. Go to the bathroom on a different floor. I mean, I do that in my home office. I'm in my home office downstairs. I walk upstairs to the bathroom. All these things really do count. Don't underestimate the importance of NEAT. The last thing that I would say about the hierarchy of fat loss is doing what I call LISS, low intensity steady state cardio. So it plays, don't get me wrong, those long walks that you go off and do at the weekend are really important. Or if you like your running and you go at a steady state, of course they have wonderful health benefits. But it is a lower down the hierarchy of fat loss. So you're really, with these taking action, it's just about making sure you're hitting your protein goals, making sure you're hitting your exercise goals, making sure that you're getting out and moving a little bit more. It's just that, just do it. That action of just doing it. But just the two, if I had to pick two key things on there, I would say it's your calorie deficit and your protein. And most of you by now are eating healthier diets anyway, less processed food, more fruit and veggies, that sort of thing. So it's keep going. Take the action. Really work on hitting that protein goal and being within your calorie deficit. Now, one thing that's really interesting is, like, we were full of vim and vigour in the first, first kind of weeks of any sort of journey. We might have had a wobble. We've looked at the 5 saboteurs of weight loss. There might be a time that we think, oh, I'm just on my phone, I can't do it, I can't keep going. And you can. And what we want to do is look at things now in these last 2 modules in these 4-week blocks. So for this 4 weeks, there is going to be a 4-week training tracker. And I want you to plot out for those 4 weeks. Now, you might just say, I don't need a piece of paper to plot it out, I can put it in my diary. But it's turning those daily commitments into weekly commitments and turning those weekly commitments into 2-week commitments, putting them in there, making that commitment to yourself and just getting on with it and just taking action and doing it. So there is going to be an action point. There is going to be a 4-week tracker that I'm going to send to you. And I want you to fill it in for the next 4 weeks. What is your activity going to be for the next 4 weeks and where? So am I going to be doing my HIIT sessions 4 times a week or 3 times a week? Am I putting in a longer walk at the weekend? Or like with me, I play my tennis. These things are hugely, hugely important. So let's get that 4-week training tracker filled in. I'm going to make that commitment to ourselves. So the last thing I want to look at here is about stress management. Now, a lot of the time we just let stress management sort of engulf us. And, it's really important that we address this, because stress can be something that can derail us. So if we put our bodies under continuous periods of longer term stress, it affects our cortisol, which is one of our fat loss hormones. So we have several, I'm not going to bore you with science, but there are fat loss hormones that need to work in tandem together. So I want you to be aware of your stress. I want you to look at what you need to do to relax. I want you to think about, do you get enough sleep, and all those sort of things. So we're going to look at taking some action around the hierarchy of fat loss, the 4-week training tracker, and stress management. Oh, Lisa, I know you're thinking, oh, well, I don't feel like it. I don't really know that I can do this. Well, you can do it. Of course you can do it. It's very interesting. My dear mum used to say, we all have to do things we don't want to do, darling. And we do. Sometimes I don't feel like it. I mean, all the rich and famous and beautiful people on Instagram, if you follow any of these beautiful people that look amazing, they don't just look like that. They have to go and make the effort to eat well and go to the gym and keep going, So I kind of get it. I get the fact that you won't always feel motivated, but if you just take the action and do it, then that's good enough is good enough. And that leads into the, have I done enough? Yes. Good enough is good enough. If you haven't taken action today, go take action tomorrow. Press the reset button, the brekkie button reset. Start again. Just go and do something. Or if you're listening to this now and you say, oh, well, I was meant to do my HIIT, and press pause, go and do your HIIT. Because you'll feel better for it, and you know you will. But good enough is good enough. Don't worry about it. So, motivation. I'm going to be good coach, bad coach, like good cop, bad cop. It's really interesting to me, because people sometimes, they say, yes, miss. And it's like, at the end of the day, this is your choice, but you've invested in yourself. I can't make you do anything. Only you can take control, and only you can, work out if this is important to you or not. But I may call you out. One of my clients, and I think I've mentioned this before, after we'd finished working together, she admitted that she'd been lying to me. It was such a big thing that she'd actually done it because she'd been lying to herself. And of course, we couldn't get anywhere during our time together, towards the end of our time together. But here's the thing, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to put my arm around you. If you're having a really tough time, I will put my arm around you and I will help you, and we will scale things back if that's what we need to do, so that you can take the action and you do say, yeah, okay, Lisa, yeah, I can do those things this week. But I will call you out too. So if you're talking toffee, I might have to tell you that you're talking toffee. And the reason, and my coach did that with me. Like I remember once, and I'd had a really bad day, and I'd gone out and hadn't been having alcohol, and I went totally off the rails. And when I spoke to him, I said, "Oh, I can't see why. I was in a calorie deficit. Why that would make a difference?" And he said to me, "Do you honestly think that? It wasn't nasty." And I was like, "Yes, maybe, no." I had to be honest with myself, and I had to be honest with him, because I was just kidding myself. Of course, it hadn't helped me. Of course, it hadn't helped me that week. So, I am only going to do this so you get the results that you desire. That's the truth of the matter. What's your why? I always talk about what's your why, because if you understand your why and you have a big enough why, you'll always find the how. I mean, it's like, those really successful entrepreneurs. They didn't just fall into it. They had their dreams, they had their goals, they had their vision. They made a decision to do stuff. They had a big enough why. I mean, Alan Sugar, his kind of whole life story is very, very public. He had a really big why, and he always found a how. And you will be the same. So just remember, what's your why? And one of my clients, she wrote her whys up and put them in strategic places. So anytime she was wobbling, it was there in front of her. It's really important to keep reminding yourself about why you started this journey if you feel that your motivation is waning a little bit, because it's natural, it's normal. If you just take that action, the motivation will start to come back, because you'll start to see the success and your confidence will be. I think it's also very important to celebrate your successes. Give yourself a pat on the back. Nobody else is going to for you except for me. I'm going to be your biggest champion and your cheerleader. But it's really important, what's your why? And when you're doing well, that it's that self progressing circle again. So there is going to be an action point, and I want you to look at doing 10 things you've achieved and writing them down. So it will be just literally grab a piece of paper, get on the laptop, and just write 10 things down that you've achieved since you started the program in the past 4 to 5 weeks, because you will have achieved a lot and you won't have realised how much you've actually changed things. The final thing that I'd say is your imagination is a powerful tool. So when I was trying to lose a few pounds, I was going on holiday. It was not long after I'd moved to Spain. There was a few too many sangrias and tapas and nights out. And then it was like, oh my goodness, I'm going on holiday. I've got to do something. I don't want to be like this. I just kept imagining myself in my bikini on the beach on holiday. And it was really powerful. Every time I felt like I was waning when I was doing my HIIT training, or lifting a weight, or wanted to eat an ice cream, or have a nice icy cold vodka and tonic on the terrace, I was like, no. Think of yourself, think of yourself, think of yourself. And I did. I just kept imagining, imagining myself getting on the beach and not being happy with myself. So your imagination is a very, very powerful tool. And one thing that you can do, if you haven't already done it, this is where I'm going to call you out, is the coaching model, the future self. Who do you want to be? Now, if you haven't done this, you need to do this, because this will really help with your motivation. It will really clarify and be crystal clear what you want to be, who you want to be, and how you're going to get there. So, action point. Well, there's a couple of action points. There's going to be the 4-week training tracker, which you're going to complete. You're going to fill in when you're going to train. You can put that straight into your diary, or you can plot it out on the paper and then put it into your diary, whichever is best for you. The second action point is the 10 things you've achieved. So you're just going to write down your list of 10 things that you've achieved so far. And the third action point is to make sure you're up to date with the coaching models, particularly the future self. So 3 action points for you to get on with. So habits, and there's the bits in between, as I say. So we've talked about that confidence and building that confidence. So it starts with the action, it goes to the motivation. When you start to see the success and the results, your confidence starts to build. When the confidence starts to build, you start to do more of it and your mindset becomes stronger because you're going, hang on a minute, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. You know, there's such a great feeling when you get on the scales and the pounds have gone down, or you measure your waist, or you put on your favourite pair of trousers and they zip up easily. Your confidence starts to build, and that is so important, because with that external confidence, your internal confidence starts to grow as well. So those bits in between then start to lead to the habits, because the more you do it and the more you see those results, the more habit forming it becomes. So can you change the way your brain works? Well, you can. Neuroplasticity is the science of changing the way your brain works. And it's a really interesting thing, because, I mean, I always, like talk about the fact that there are certain people that I've worked with and they have beliefs, what's your belief? And a belief is something that you'd argue to the nth degree. I believe X, Y, and Z. This is really, really important. And I believe very strongly, and my clients have believed very strongly in the past, that they can't go, say, on holiday and without gaining weight, or they can't get through Christmas or New Year without gaining weight. A lot of them do it. They lose weight. I lost weight, or they maintain weight, and they come back in a place which they did not think was possible. One of my clients, she has been going for 18 years to a summer school. She always comes back heavier. She came back the same weight. She just didn't believe that that was possible. She didn't know that she could do that. So she had changed her belief by going, actually, I can do that. Some of us are very fixed in our mindset. Oh, well, no, I can't possibly change. But if you're on this program, I know you're not like that. I know you're open-minded. I know that you have the ability to grow. Life always happens. Hey, what do they say? Life isn't always a bowl of cherries. I don't know. But things happen along the way. There will always be things that derail you. There will always be that late night in the office because the project's gone to pot. There will always be somebody's birthday. There will always be Christmas. It comes up all the time. And it's just how you manage it and the choices that you make. We manage our lives. We do so much to manage our lives. We can apply that to our health, our weight loss, and our well-being. They say, we've talked about this, how many days does it take to create a habit? Anything from 21, anything up to 6 months. In this next 4-week period, I think this is where we're really going to start to nail these habits just by the process of doing. And, it is that continuous circle. It isn't about getting it right, but it is just about doing a bit more, taking a bit more action, building your confidence, seeing the results, getting your motivation going. It's just about doing a bit more. And when you see this, how this works, you can apply this to other areas of your life. So, my Project You version 2.0, my 6-month program, a lot of the guys in there start to expand it out into many more areas of their life. So, writing books, changing careers, putting boundaries around careers, asking for more money, saying valuing themselves more. So you can just sort of widen this out with your growth and with changing your mindset. So to recap, why action comes first. It's really important that we just do it. You know, be to do, do to be. I might have said that to you. That might be the first time you've heard that. But is it do to be or be to do? If you do it, you can be it. It's when people say, oh, well, you know, I can't lose weight until I get to the gym. That's being to do. You know, if you just do it, then you can be it. It's about flinging enough spaghetti at the wall and something will stick. It's ready, fire, aim, as my coach says to me. Just do it. Just do it. So that's why action comes first. We've talked about the circle of success. So we've talked about that action, motivation. We've talked about how after motivation, your confidence starts to build and you want to become inside out confident because you see the success. We talk about how then your habits start to form because you just do more of it and they keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And then how with that and your mindset starts to shift because you know that you can do it and you start to have that belief in yourself. We talked about the importance of the hierarchy of weight loss and really nailing that in this next 4 weeks, making sure you're hitting your calorie and your protein goals, getting a good quality of food in, and then how HIIT comes next, then NEAT, then LIFT, so high intensity interval training, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and low intensity steady state training. We've talked about neuroplasticity and the fact that you can actually change your mind. It is possible to change your beliefs. We talked about how myself, clients I know, have done things, and I didn't believe that was possible. One of my clients lost 14 pounds in the first 4 days. That would have been a shock. First 4 weeks. I've never had anyone lose 14 pounds in the first 4 weeks. But he did. And I was like, did you think that was possible? He was like, no. No. It's like, neither did I. So, you know, anything is possible. You can change your mind just so long as you have that open mind rather than that growth mindset, rather than that fixed mindset. And the final thing is there are some action points. So I'm going to send the 4-week tracker so you can plot in your exercise for the next 4 weeks. You're going to do the 10 things you've achieved since joining this program. And you're also going to catch up with any coaching models, particularly the Future Self coaching model, if you haven't done that. And finally, I'm going to say, you know, I am going to hold your feet to the flames. You know, this is your journey. I'm helping you with the map. If you think you're going from London and you've got to go to some place that you don't know where to go, you need a map. And I'm your map reader, you know. But I am going to challenge you or call you out if I think you need it. Equally, I'm going to put my arm around you and I'm going to tell you when you've done well. I'm going to tell you that it's all going to be okay so long as you just follow the process and take action. You will get there. So guys, as ever, I hope you have a great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. So take care and bye for now.